Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Good afternoon, and thank you for tuning in. This is Gloria Lee, the moderator for the show Women of Courage. Wherever you are in the world, I need you to know one thing right now. You are amazing. I know you might be upset. I know you might be hurting. And I know you might be frustrated. I know because all of these things happened to me. I was homeless for 2 years, and all I had was a computer, my son, and a car. I want you to know you still have a purpose in life, and it is my job to help you believe that again. Do you want to believe? Can you see that the divorce was not meant to take you out? Can you believe that the lost house and the lost job is a setup for something greater? By the end of this broadcast, you'll be injected with so much that you cannot help but believe again. And I am going to help you do just that. Are you ready? I got some things I want to share with you. And I will even make suggestions on books and activities that you can implement, which will ultimately bring healing and wholeness to you. If you are ready to be healed, if you're ready to be whole, just jot down the pointers I give and watch your life transform. No matter what happened, no matter whose fault it was, today is a new day, and your time to live and be free is now. Join me in this journey to wholeness. Your time for total healing is now. Today you shall recover. Wholeness, healness, and peacefulness is in the mind. That is where all battles for life end and begin. During this show, we are going to continue to discuss domestic violence. October is National Domestic Violence Month, but I do want to make you aware that October is also the National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is an annual international health campaign organized by major breast cancer charities every October to increase awareness of the disease and to raise funds for research into its cause, prevention, diagnosis, treatment, and cure. The campaign also offers information and support to those affected by breast cancer. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a yearly campaign that intends to educate people about the importance of early screening, tests, and more. This campaign starts October the 1st and ends October 31st every year. Now to domestic violence. Women, whether married or single, condone various degrees of abuse for reasons such as no source of income, the fear of losing custody of their children, exposure to information, low self esteem, stigmatization, and many more. More often than not, the woman is prevailed upon to be forgiving regardless of the ordeal she undergoes daily or the scars she has tattooed all over her body. Most heart wrenching is the fact that sometimes the physical trauma, the psychological torture, and the emotional disenchantments transforms a once beautiful, loving woman into a recluse. To this end, many have died and many more are held in severe bondage they cannot escape from. Domestic violence is an act of intimidation, physical, verbal, or emotional abuse that has become an epidemic. Often we have woken up to read of murder and violence. Domestic violence happens across all sectors of society. It cuts across the educated and the illiterate, the religious and the free thinkers, classes of career women and stay at home wives, the married and the single, as well as all ages. Any and everyone can be affected by domestic violence. Domestic violence occurs when a person uses physical violence, coercion, threats, intimidation, isolation, stalking, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, or economic abuse to control another partner in a relationship. Domestic violence can be a single act or a pattern of behavior in relationships which encompass dating, marriage, family, and roommate relationships. It is a violation of the rights we all have to healthy, supportive, and safe relationships. Domestic violence is a serious social problem and a national health concern with significant negative impacts on individuals and our community. It is a primary cause of injury to women in the United States. According to the National Institute of Justice, over one third, which is 37% of women admitted to an emergency room for a violent related injury were abused by an intimate party. Additional 1 in 3 women in the United States are physically abused by a partner at some point in their lives. The Center for Disease Control reports that approximately 1.3 million women are physically abused each year in the United States. Each domestic violence situation is different, yet all abusers use similar ways to get what they want and to keep power and control. Batterers can be charming, sweet, apologetic 1 minute and abusive the next. The abused partner can be confused and kept off balance by these changes in the batterer's behavior. Sometimes survivors describe the abuser as having a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde personality. Violence or threats of violence has happened more than once or twice. It is extremely likely it is going to continue to happen again. The violence usually gets worse over time, increasing in both frequency and severity. It is common for the abuse to develop into a pattern or a cycle of abuse. There is a buildup of tension and a breakdown in communication. There's a trigger that occurs that sets off the batterer. A violent event occurs. Then the honeymoon period follows. The batterer apologizes, asks for forgiveness, and swears it will never happen again. He courts the partner. The survivor wants to believe that the batterer will change and they make up. Life returns to normal until tension begins again and the cycle continues. Domestic violence and abuse can happen to anyone, yet the problem is often overlooked, excused, or denied. This is especially true when the abuse is psychological rather than physical. Noticing and acknowledging the signs of an abusive relationship is the first step in ending it. If you recognize yourself or someone you know in the following descriptions of abuse, reach out now. There is help available. No one should live in fear of the person they love. Just as the use of physical violence on the street is illegal, the use of physical violence in a relationship is an illegal act for which the abuser can be arrested and prosecuted. You need to speak up and say no to domestic violence. This message is to you who is in an abusive relationship, you who don't know what to do about the abusive relationship, and you who do not know where to go for help. You don't know what your rights are. An abuser may exert control by downplaying the seriousness of what they're doing to you. As a result, it's easy to underestimate the amount of danger that you're in. It is vital to protect yourself from harm if you feel you are being abused. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now for my break.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Attention women, have you ever asked yourself why society views you as a lesser being to a man? Or why most leadership positions are filled by men? I urge you to visit touchedbythelight.us and get your copy of this amazing, inspiring new book called Women of Courage Part 2. It's carefully written with a passion for all women. It's the time for all mothers, sisters, and daughters to come together as one. Unite together and understand your life and make a change today. Visit touchedbythelight.us and order the book Women of Courage Part 2 and feel the love and dedication it has to offer. Get your copy today. Are sex trafficking and literacy important to you? Would you like to help? Well, now you can. We meet twice a month on Saturday. I invite each and every one of you to join me at a local restaurant throughout the city to discuss the importance of sex trafficking and literacy in our community. We need your help now. If you would like a chance to give back to your community, I urge you to send an email to murderedvoices@gmail.com to get dates, times, and locations of each meeting. Again, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stand up and help us fight the good fight together. Attention women, have you ever asked yourself why society views you as a lesser being to a man, or why most leadership positions are filled by a man? I urge you to visit touchedbythelight.us and get your copy of this amazing, inspiring new book called Women of Courage Part 1. It's carefully written with a passion for all women. It's the time for all mothers, sisters, and daughters to come together as one. Unite together and understand your life and make a change today. Visit touchedbythelight.us and order this new book, Women of Courage Part 1, and feel the love and dedication it has to offer. Get your copy today.
Hello, are you downcast, emotionally and psychologically broken? Still finding it difficult realizing your deepest life aspiration and fulfilling your dream of ever becoming that courageous woman you have wanted? You don't have to worry about that anymore, as I provide you with the lasting solution to turn this around. I am delighted to introduce to you 3 amazing and life-changing book series titled Women of Courage, Part 1, Part 2, and How to Become a Woman of Courage. These preach the personification of burning passion, courage, commitment, and inspiration we've simply felt compelled to express. These books are so inspiring. It motivates and encourages women to be more than the ordinary, influencing, and controlling life situations you thought you couldn't do. It educates you to break the social norms and become the unexpected and respected woman leader. It teaches you to support your own mind, your dreams, and helping you unleash your potentials. Now is the time to start thinking outside the box and overcoming emotional and psychological challenges. You too can change your world today. Why don't you challenge your fear and become a woman full of freedom that you have so dreamed of? Compared to the millions of ideas and thought it shares for your happiness and courage, the books are super amazingly affordable. You also have the privilege of reading an excerpt from the book before placing an order. Simply go to the website touchedbythelight.us and click on the book cover to learn more about these adventurous books. Do not compromise your dreamed freedom, strength, and boldness. I would highly recommend that you give this a shot. Best Women of Courage.
Are you ready to make the most important step towards realizing your deepest life aspirations and dreams of becoming an aspiring, courageous woman? If you are truly feeling prepared to learn all you could possibly need to know in order to set up your life for success and understand how to avoid the common mistakes that present the pitfall of most, even the grandest dreams and ambitions, while getting on the fast track towards building a powerful, lasting, and successful character, personality, and life, you are in the right place. With Women of Courage, we pride ourselves on providing ambitious, aspiring ladies with the ultimate, most comprehensive, one-stop source of invaluable knowledge designed with one single purpose: empowering you to efficiently start on your way to absolute success and successfully building your life the way you want it to be. Please watch the intro video.
Don't be discouraged. Yes, you can live a life you want to and be the person you want to. Be a goal-getter. Take this bold step to order and purchase these life-changing books so as to learn the detail of the struggles and limitations women faced before becoming the icons they are today. Then you can avoid mistakes too. I'm going to be honest with you here. There's only one inspirational book which has encouraged me not to be fearful as a woman, but to take a bold but little step to changing my low self-esteem and total life situation positively, so quickly and greatly. My little secret has been the books titled Women of Courage. This book has been so amazing and knowledge-packed. Before now, there hasn't really been a right, perfect time to do the right or perfect thing. Most often than not, I've continued to wait for the right time to have things done, but it always never comes. Not until I got hold of the books, Women of Courage. To gain knowledge and becoming a woman of purpose, only then I was able to create the perfect and right time to grab every opportunity that confronted me. I was strong and determined never to get too comfortable and to stop growing. I was able to use and control my anger and temper for the right course. I became the woman of courage that was not deterred of what people say. I created and took advantage of every opportunity where people saw as limitations. Thanks to the story of many courageous and determined women of history. Interesting, isn't it? The success story of many women who read the book convinced me. Here I am, more refined, courageous, and living the kind of life I have always hoped for. You too can become the woman of courage and purpose everyone would admire, just like me.
The Women of Courage series was written to help women learn about themselves and to turn women into winners. You do not have to settle for life prophesized by your teachers, the church, your parents, or your friends. You can change the scenarios and play the starring role. In order for women to learn to believe in themselves, to become the person they want to be, it is important for women to know where they came from. History is the standard by which we judge ourselves. If you have a good self-image, you will believe the sky is the limit. You can do anything or become anyone. But if you have a poor self-image, your thinking will be chaotic and you may never reach your goal. For centuries, women have played an important role in the development of society, yet this role has been practically ignored in folklore and in history books. Men have always had the starring role. Men have been the keepers of faith. Men have been the saviors of society. Men have been valiant, steadfast, and true, while women have been relegated to the sidelines where the peace setters were men. Today we shall put the story straight. The everyday slugfest that was carried on by ordinary women for century after century after century has never been told. Today, we present a pictorial representation to give you another view of the fight conducted by women. Pay particular attention to the conditions in which the women worked and note this was a fight for survival.
Why you should read Women of Courage. The book will inspire you to begin your life again. Read how females took courage to live exemplary lives, even though most were from humble backgrounds. The books teach the importance of courage in achieving the great things of life. The books motivate you to look beyond those things you think you couldn't do. The books give you the insight into your innate abilities that your fears have suppressed. There is no greater feeling than creating a new you.
God bless, and remember, believe in yourself and stand up.
Every day we wake and drive to work, and we see people walking around, smiling, giving the appearance of happiness, and we envy them. We wish that our lives were like theirs. We drive home and turn on the television, and we see people walking around smiling at their friends and spouses, and we envy them, and we wish we could live a life just like theirs. These thoughts bring misery into our lives because we believe what our eyes see. We accept what is in front of us as being true. We do not see the makeup artist in the background making the final touch-ups to the actor's face. We do not see the diet pills the actors shovel down their throats at night so they can avoid eating. We believe what we see, and what we see makes us miserable. We want to trade places. We begin to think, why could it not have been me? Why could I not have a car like that? Why could I not have a wife like that? Why could I not have a husband like that? Why could I not have a house like that? On and on the questioning continues until finally we are dissatisfied with the world around us. Why could I have not been born to parents like that? All these questions force us to turn inward, and we attack ourselves. We begin to say, I thought Mary would make a wonderful wife when I married her. Now she has grown fat. She complains every day. She never stops. I wake in the morning and she complains. I drive to work and she calls complaining. I come home at night and she complains. Will nothing change? Or you think, I thought Tom would make a great husband. Now I know all he thinks about is the next woman he's going to take to bed. I'm tired of watching him. I just don't care anymore. If he wants to take the entire neighborhood to bed, I don't care. How did I get here? Am I destined to live a life I do not want? A life I hate? Is there nothing going to change? Every day we make changes, we negotiate with ourselves. We make comparisons and we come up short, and we become more and more unhappy. This is why you must take action. Otherwise, your unhappiness will lead you to alcohol, drugs, petty feuds at work, extramarital affairs, obesity, then death. Yes, unhappiness can lead to death. This is why you must take control over your life. No matter where you find yourself, you must take control of your life. Taking control will not be immediate, but the more you work at reclaiming your life and restoring yourself, control will come. You must be careful when you start your reclamation process because others around you will not want you to change. They will want you to remain the unhappy person you have always been. If you decide to return to school, keep it to yourself. If you decide to buy a new house, keep it to yourself. If you decide to move out of state, keep it to yourself. People have gotten used to the old you, and the new you may have problems exerting authority over your life with others and putting a down payment on the future. You simply may want to learn to play the piano. Do not listen when someone tells you you're too old to learn to play. If you want to learn to play the piano, do just that. Read the ads in the paper and find a teacher or contact a local school for an instructor and begin learning to play the piano. This is your life, not anyone else's. Have you noticed how mean some older people are? The meanest comes from dissatisfaction. They spent their entire life doing what was expected of them, doing what someone else told them to do, and now they are 65, 70, or 80 years of age. They realize they never did what they wanted to do. Is that not enough to make one angry? Communication is the key. We spend a great deal of time learning to communicate with others. We should spend an equal amount of time learning to communicate with ourselves. We need to stay in touch with ourselves over the years. We need to ask ourselves, what is next? Am I following someone else's playbook? Are there any changes I can make to my life that will make me happy? After you determine what these changes are, you need to sit down and assess how easy or difficult these changes will be to achieve. The books You Are the Prophet of Your Life and The Devil's Cauldron give a different perspective on self-assessment. Knowing how to relate to others is just as important as knowing how we relate to ourselves. You'll be surprised at the reading. The books are not any other. The books are a good exercise for a reality check. The full complement of books on this website was written at great cost to the writer. Jealous, envy, and even hatred was explored. You will find Be Not Defeated in Hard Times, an acclamation to the human spirit. If you do not entertain defeat, you will keep on walking, talking, and working until you win. It is all a matter of goals and asking yourself, what do I want? You may say you want an F-150, but are you willing to work a second job to buy one? Or will you tell your wife why this truck is so important to you that you have to have one? It is all a matter of goals and self-examination. Why do you have to buy a dress every week? Why are you always trying to get the attention of Betty's husband? Out of all the men in the state, you have to try and attract someone else's husband? What does Betty have other than her husband that you envy, so that you have to take her husband to bed? Why was it necessary for you to sneak a peek in her dresser drawers and see how many panties she's had? Why does it make you feel better to humiliate others? Think about it. Why? Read and find your way out of the mess you're in. Reading and considering another point of view can incite you to a new idea or spark your imagination that will lead you to change.
Again, the cycle of violence is There is a buildup of tension and a breakdown in communication. A trigger occurs that sets off the batterer. A violent event occurs. Then the honeymoon period follows. The batterer apologizes, he asks for forgiveness, and swears it will never happen again. He courts the partner. The survivor wants to believe the batterer will change and the couple makes up. Life returns to normal until tension begins again and the cycle continues. An abuser may exert control by downplaying the seriousness of what they're doing to you. As a result, it's easy to underestimate the amount of danger that you are in. It is vital to protect yourself from harm if you feel you are being abused. Decide if you are in immediate danger. How likely is it that someone will hurt you? Sometimes it's hard to work out the danger or risk to yourself. If you're unsure about your safety, it is important for you to talk to someone. If you feel uncomfortable, you may have to move to somewhere that is safe. Get support. Making a decision to leave a situation where you feel unsafe may be hard and scary. It's possible to talk to someone you trust, such as a friend, a counselor, or a youth worker. Talk to the police. If you feel unsafe, talk to the police. They're there to protect you. You can also call state and territorial support lines to talk about the risk you face. You have to believe in yourself. If someone is hurting you or threatening to hurt you, it can be hard to maintain your self-confidence or feelings of self-worth. You might even want to blame yourself for the situation. Remember that it is never okay for someone to hurt you or threaten to hurt you. The best thing that you can do in this situation is to remove yourself from the situation. You need to know your rights. Check out your legal rights at a Law Stuff website. Every state has laws designed to protect against any form of domestic violence. To go. Recognizing that there's a problem in the first step in getting help. The second is to know that you're not alone. If you need to get out fast, you have a number of options. Go to a refuge. A shelter or a refuge is a place where you can seek temporary accommodations while you sort out your next step. There are also usually other services available in a refuge, including legal advice, emotional support, practical help such as food and clothing, and good security. Go to a family or a friend. If you can, get in contact with a trusted family member or a friend and ask if you can stay with them while you work out what to do next. If you suspect that someone you know is being abused, speak up. If you're hesitating telling yourself that it's none of your business, you might be wrong, or the person might not want to talk about it. Keep in mind that expressing your concern will let the person know that you care and may even save their life. To the person in private and let them know that you're concerned. Point out the things you've noticed and makes you worried. Tell the person that you're there whenever they feel ready to talk. Reassure the person that you'll keep whatever is said between the two of you and let them know that you'll help in any way you can. Remember, the abusers are very good at controlling and manipulating their victims. People who have been emotionally abused or battered are depressed. They're drained, scared, ashamed, and confused. They need help to get out. Yet, they have often been isolated from their families and friends. By picking up on the warning signs and offering your support, you can help them escape an abusive situation and begin their healing. Remember, if you miss one of our shows, you can visit our YouTube channel at Touched by the Light Publishing to watch and listen to previous episodes of Women of Courage. Thank you.
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
Dear listeners, help us save a life. Stop breast cancer from taking lives. Will you assist us in putting the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer in the hands of 1 million people? Please go to the website www.touchedbythelight.us and download the booklet Black Women and Breast Cancer. Then email this booklet to 5 friends, asking them to email the booklet to 5 of their friends. We are trying to reach 1 million women with this information to save lives. The death of one woman to breast cancer from our community is one woman too many. We thank you for your support. Here's an essay I would like for you to hear. It is entitled Finding the Light. We would like for you to imagine that you are standing in darkness, but there is a circle of light shining all around you. As you walk, the circle of light moves with you. Now imagine you are walking toward another woman standing in darkness. She is also surrounded by a circle of light. Now if you continue to walk toward her, your light and her light will overlap. Now imagine that the two of you begin walking toward a third woman who is standing in darkness, but also surrounded by a circle of light. As the two of you approach the third woman, your lights will begin to overlap. Now there are 3 of you standing together in the light, surrounded by darkness, and you begin walking toward a 4th woman. What do you think is going to happen? The 4th woman's light will overlap the lights surrounding the 3 of you. Something else is going to happen. The illumination surrounding the 4 of you will be greater than the illumination surrounding any one woman, increasing your visual perception, allowing you to peer into the darkness with greater accuracy. We believe every woman living in this country has a light surrounding her that can help solve the problems of domestic violence and sexual violence. We believe women must come together with their individual lights out of the darkness to illuminate all the dark shadows and foes hiding this awful crime. If the women in this country and the world begin speaking with one voice to their fathers, to their husbands, to their sons, to their brothers, to their uncles, to their nephews, to their cousins, and to their grandfathers, sooner or later the men in this country and the world will hear us, and they will understand that they must join us in stopping violence against all women. Our voices must become a crescendo, and we must work together. Galatians 6:1, bear one another's burden and rid ourselves of guilt and sin. Some years ago, I read the book entitled Evil Under the Sun. The book was written by Agatha Christie and acted by her most famous detective, Hercule Poirot. Evil Under the Sun was published in England by Agatha Christie June 1941, which means Miss Christie wrote Evil Under the Sun during the Battle of Britain. Think of her tenacity. Her country was at war, yet she sat down and wrote a novel to entertain people. There's a passage in Deuteronomy 30:19 that describes that. Today I am giving you a choice. I am now giving you a choice between life and death, between God's blessing and God's curse. And I call heaven and earth to witness the choice you make. In life, one of the most important virtues we must build in our self-esteem. This simply means having confidence in not just our own selves, but also having confidence in our ideas, our dreams, our passions, and our decisions. Self esteem is self respect. It means placing a lot of premium on our thoughts and actions, irrespective of what naysayers think. Muhammad Ali, the most famous exploratist, is a perfect example of a man who was driven by a belief in his own effort, rule the world in his craft. To lend credence to his determination, Ali was crowned world heavyweight champion 3 times between 1964 and 1979, and he won 56 out of 61 fights. That is a massive 91.8 win rate. It is important to reiterate that Muhammad Ali was not born a champion. He was a regular kid, just like many children born in his generation. However, he achieved so much greatness in his lifetime because of his guts and self-esteem. He knew what he could achieve. He put himself and his mind to work, and even in death, he is celebrated worldwide and was adjudged the greatest sport personality in the 20th century. Ali's achievements did not come by mere wishes. They came through dint of hardship, hard work, focus, and self-esteem. The life of Muhammad Ali is a compendium that is filled with inspirational stories of his dexterity in the ring. One very important lesson to learn from his life is the use of the word affirmation to build his confidence level. Oftentimes he would make statements like, I'm the greatest thing ever lived, I don't have a mark on my face, and I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old, I must be the greatest. These are words of affirmation, positive words of affirmation which help us focus and build our self-confidence. Words of affirmations are positive words that are meant to help you challenge negative thoughts. Muhammad Ali used these affirmations a lot in the course of his career, and the results are there for everyone to see. When you use such words and affirmations, you directly proclaim success and you work toward it. Then your mind helps you see the possibilities of success in whatever you do. Those words are ingrained in your subconscious to an extent that you see success as the only outcome of your effort. We can achieve whatever we set our minds to achieve only if we can commit to it, build up our confidence level, and speak positive words of affirmations to ourselves. Success can be achieved by anyone who puts their mind to it and follows their passion. The first step is believing in yourself, your ability, and your own dreams, even when the odds appear to be against you. Most people who fail to realize their dreams or give up on their dreams are majorly those who have low self-esteem. Low self-esteem is simply when you have no confidence in your abilities and believe you're not good enough, and there are many downsides to this. The downsides of low self-esteem are: number one, it gives rise to negative feelings, and these negative feelings do not translate into any favorable actions. Number two, it makes you to constantly criticize yourself or compare yourself to others. Number three, it can lead to constant feelings of sadness, frustration, anger, depression, and guilt. It impairs your performance and prevents you from putting your best foot forward. Show me a man with low self esteem, and I will show you a man who may not amount to much. Muhammad Ali, a former world heavyweight champion, is a man whose self esteem earned him a lot of accolades and honors in his lifetime. And he is someone from whom you can learn how to build your self esteem to achieve your life's desires.
You need to live life with a purpose. You need to spend the time needed to explore, to find your true passion. There are so many unhappy people in this world not willing to make a change. There are so many unhappy people not focusing on the big picture. 1 out of 3 people are happy with their lives. Think about that for a second. 70% of the people you see every day are not happy. And the majority of that has to do with purpose. People are programmed, wired to be okay with the minimum. People stay in jobs they're not passionate about. They date people who don't support them, hang out with people who don't help them grow. This can't be you. You need to spend the time to discover what your true calling is. What are you passionate about? What do you see yourself doing to make your mark? Are you in a job right now that you're truly happy with? Do you wake up every morning excited to start your day? If not, that's okay. You know now this isn't fulfilling you. But what are you gonna do about it? Are you willing to make a change to help reach your goals? If you are, it needs to start now. Because this won't happen overnight, finding your true calling. But once you do, you will see how everything changes. You will begin to see the quality of your life increase. All those problems you had, they slowly fade. You begin to see how powerful life is with a purpose. Anything that you want in this life can be obtained. You just need to believe. Believe in yourself. You are strong. You are beautiful. You are resilient. You are what we call the women of courage. And your time is now. There are no victims in this life. So I'm asking you, are you ready to make a change? Are you ready to fight for what you want? Are you ready to fight for your dreams? If you are, it starts now. This is the Women of Courage.
This is a congratulations and a shout out to the Women of Courage show. Starting in July, we will be publishing articles in the Native Sun and the Highland Park Journal. The editors of both papers agreed to allow us to publish articles in their papers. In keeping with our mission, the articles will detail information regarding 4 linking subjects: reading, self-esteem, sexual abuse, and sex trafficking. To support our mission to bring you information on these subjects, we will appreciate it if you would advertise in these papers. These newspapers support us, we should support them. Give us a shout out at murderedvoices@gmail.com if you read, enjoy, and find our articles helpful. We thank you for listening and supporting our show. Our show could not have a greater audience. Don't forget to email us for dates, times, and locations for our Saturday meetings. God bless.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.